tonight. Hey, welcome to Let's Talk Her Wellness. I'm your host, Lynette Thomas, and my co-host is Lady J. And Let's Talk Her Wellness is here to empower women to heal and grow and thrive in every aspect of their lives. Hey. Happy, amazing Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in. Come on in. We are excited about this segment tonight. And I am always so excited to see my co host, my friend, my sister,
Woo!
Lady J. Lady J, how are you doing tonight, sister?
Oh, I'm super stoked over the fact that we have such an amazing guest with us. I just can't wait to dive into this topic to learn as much as we can. And I'm curbing my enthusiasm just a wee tad little bit on this Tuesday. So what's up with you, sister?
Listen, I'm excited. I'm so excited for tonight. And let me tell you something, it is just really amazing. But, guys, before we even get started, I want to say welcome back to Let's Talk Her Wellness, where we have real conversations that nourish the mind, the body, and the soul. And I am your host, Lynette Thomas, your transformational wellness midwife, Lady J. How about that? And I
That
am so
part.
excited to be joining with me, my co host, my holistic and wellness champion coach, Lady J. And listen, guys, tonight topic, sis, feed your healing. We're talking about food, not just what's on your plate, but how it shapes your energy, your hormones, your mood, and even your healing. And so, with all of that said, we want to know what's in your cup and what's in my warm cup tonight in this little cold weather we have going on up in here in Pennsylvania. I'm drinking my wonderful, amazing mango pineapple tea. And guys, it smells so good. But the benefits, Lady J, listen, for all of my folks out there that deal with pain and inflammation, you want to get hooked on some of this mango pineapple tea. You want to get hooked on that because this right here will knock out that inflammation that you have going on in your body. Great for enzymes, great for your skin and all that good stuff. So this is an anti-inflammatory tea that I'm drinking tonight, Lady J. And what are you drinking?
Well, sister, you know I like to keep it prim and stick my pinky up whenever I have my glass. So today my
Ooh,
glass is full, right? And I'm
mm,
telling you that it's full because God is good. Like I,
mm,
I I have to talk about my cup because
mm.
some moments and time, even though this cup is full, I take the mindset of feeling like my cup is empty. So
Mm,
today I made sure that I got my mind together, that I filled up my cup, not just with this coconut water that has electrolytes and hydration benefits, benefits to support your heart, blood pressure, benefits that help kidney stone, urinary health, nutrition, and antioxidants, so much more. But everybody that's out there, it's about what's in your glass. How do you look at it? Because this could just be your life, right? And you may look at it and be like, oh, wait a minute, my glass look half empty. So today, I'm putting in my cup, I'm putting joy in this cup, I'm putting peace in this cup, and I'm so excited. There I go again about our guests. So
oh,
I'm not going to get in the way anymore than that.
listen, guys, I want you to do a drum roll because I want to introduce I am so excited tonight. We are introducing Vanessa, first generation farmer and co-founder of Willowbrook Farm. Woo, 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 woo. Let me bring her up on this stage right now. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? How are
I'm good.
you?
Hi,
Welcome
how are
Oh,
you?
in.
listen, guys. So we are excited. Let me tell you a little bit about Vanessa before we go into what our topic is here tonight, because Vanessa is going to help us unpack this. Lady J and I, as nutrition wellness coaches, food is medicine. And truly, as herbalists, we believe in incorporating our herbs and our food. And definitely, these two ladies have so much in common and so much alike. And I'm just want to sit and glean from their cup tonight. And so Vanessa, again, is the first generation farmer and co-founder of Willowbrook Farm. And I want to please, Vanessa, because I don't want to mess up that first word. Is it Calipolis?
It's Cassopolis, Michigan.
Cassopolis, Michigan. And
Hmm.
Vanessa is redefining what it means to farm with intention. At Willowbrook, she raises free range pasture, raised animals, and practices sustainable, chemical free. Um, uh,
Farming.
my words. Come on, say that word. Say it, say it, say
So
it.
farming. So we have,
Yes.
yeah.
And so we respect, she has the respect for land and people it feeds. And so I am really looking forward to diving in on this segment, with Vanessa. You know, Vanessa, our topic tonight is Sis Feed Your Healing. And so, what we mean about that, it's not always, what's on your plate, but, it's how we, our mood and trauma and mental health. Because, guys, that this month it's such a important and sensitive month, because we're talking about, Lady J, we're talking about mental health. We're talking
That's right.
about breast cancer awareness month. We're talking about, what did I say? I mentioned mental
Domestic
health,
violence.
domestic violence, and also it is also National Food Month too. So, we thought, how does all of these fit together? Because definitely, as we are emotional, as we are hormonal, as we're going through different stages and ages of our life, food has a lot to do with it, because it's how those moods and how those traumas is going to affect your thinking. And if you're thinking like, I'm going to go have that hamburger over there, or I'm going to go have these fries over here, we're going to emotionally eat. We're going to traumally eat. And so, or for some, they're not going to eat at all. And so we have someone here, we don't believe, we don't eat junk food. You are truly what you eat. And so, how did we find it so fit, and that she was so blessed that her schedule was empty, not empty because we are always working, but she came to join us tonight. And so I cannot wait to just dive in. So, guys, listen, get your journals, because we always tell you to journal. Go get your tea, and we want you to write notes, and we're going to put all of Vanessa's information up on the board, how you can get in contact with her, because toward the end we got to tell you all the things that she do. You guys just are not ready for tonight. We're going to bring her up here again. This is just her first interview, but we're going to bring her back again. And so, guys, let's just get right into it. Vanessa. We want to ask you my first question. And guys, listen, I have my notes. Y'all hear me? I have my notes for tonight. And so, Vanessa, tell us what inspired you to start Willowbrook Farms. What was that moment when you said, I want to grow what heals?
Yeah, first let me just kind of start off and give you guys like a little background. So
Please.
so we have a 35-acre livestock farm in which we grow pasture and forestry raised meats for our community and for all over the country as well. We ship our meats, we deliver them, and people come pick up at our farm. Um, our farm was started on the premise of, hey, I think we can do this. We had this beautiful land, and we needed to find out a way to make it work for us, and for us to make it work and for us to be stewards of the land as well. And so it actually all kind of came about by visiting other farms, and most of those farms, all of those farms, were white-owned farms. And we realized that, every farm we've gone to, there's no Black and there's no brown people at these farms. Wouldn't it be something if we could figure out how to do this? So at that time, I owned an early learning center and a barber shop. My husband, we're serial entrepreneurs. So um, we we had those two businesses going on. Well, a year into the farm, I realized, oh, this is actually working out. So that's when we started to become more serious about it. The biggest part for me in this farm was to reclaim what we built here as a country for Black and Brown people. And so reclaiming the land as our own, and being stewards of the land is really why I continue the fight, because being a farmer isn't easy, and it's not for the faint of heart. It really does take a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of tears, and a lot of prayer to make it through some days when you just don't know where you're going to get your next check from and how it's going to happen. But from the beginning, we've always made it work. So it's working well, and people love what we're doing and love the products we produce.
You said something so powerful. You said that it's not for the faint at heart.
Hmm.
And I am just, number one, just let me say thank you to you and your family for your yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for your yes. And, you said something else too, that you were also entrepreneurs. And so, I'm finding now that a lot of entrepreneurs are having to pivot, and especially in the country that we are living in now,
Hmm.
and I feel like in the months and years to come, there's going to be a whole lot of pivots.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of things that we took for granted back then, what we're doing today is what our grandmothers prepared us for. When you were kids, it was just a thing, but
Hmm.
really our grandparents was grooming us for what's to come for today. And so, when we talk about stress, when we talk about trauma, when we talk about mental health, you know, um, we cannot leave out the food, because that's what impacts us, And so I'm just so happy that, again, you took that leap of faith, you and your husband and your family, your wonderful family, to start this farm. And I love that you're such an amazing teacher, because, guys, let me tell you how I found Vanessa. Okay. I always say that what you're looking for is also looking for you. And so my Lady J and I, we're such, let's say, researchers. And so I scrolling one day on this lovely TikTok scrolling. And so I'm like, oh my God. And I came across your page. And when you find yourself, especially us, because we don't have time. as a wellness coach and with my hands on my clients and providing therapy, we don't get a whole lot of time to just sit and just scroll through social media. And so I happened to get on your page, and I was there for more than 5 minutes. I got a 5 minute rule. Yeah, if I'm on something for more than 5 minutes, okay, why am I here now? And so I was like, wait a minute. And I just kept going on and on and on. I said, oh, this is beautiful. I love this. And then it spoke to the nutrition in me, it spoke to the therapist in me. And I'm just like, I got to talk to her. I got to talk to her. And so thank you for being busy and approachable. I want to say that again, busy and approachable, because not too many people, especially, I know it's something running a farm, it has to be, but for you to also reach out and reach back, I found that to be very, very, very phenomenal. And so, you know what, because I can keep on going, but I want to give some room for Lady J, because I know she got some amazing questions for you. So Lady J, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. So, to the core of what I heard you say, Vanessa, was the two words that I hear often thrown out, which is land reclamation. That is something that I am so passionate about. And you said that it sits at the center of your purpose. What does it mean to you? How did, you know, land reclamation become something that you sit on 35 acres now?
Yeah, I think you'd have to go back for this. So, um, my father was a sharecropper. He was older. So my mom was 17 and my dad was in his 30s when they met. So my dad had an older soul, and he picked cotton in Arkansas when he was just a little boy. And I remember him telling me stories of him having to be 4 and 5 years old, even younger than that, watching the other babies in the field while everybody else picked cotton, and that was his job. And I remember him and my mother teaching us about what it means to be Black and the importance of what that is, and how you walk with a purpose and you walk with meaning. And when I th- and so as I grew up, that was always at the forefront of my mind, and making sure that I do the best that I could do in anything and everything that I did. And so I want to go back to appreciate what you said of being approachable but busy, but also knowing that I'm busy. I always want to make sure that I make time for those who need my time. So I appreciate you saying that, and recognizing that. But anyway, it goes back to just knowing the struggle of my four parents, my father and my mother, and saying they deserve me to work hard. They worked hard so that I could have this. And my parents have a lot of my mother and father bought land as well, and so
Okay.
I've seen that, as a young kid, and they struggled to keep it, and now they have over 100 acres. My father's no longer with us, but my mom now has over 100 acres. Um, and so I knew that as I got older that I wanted to be a part of something like that. I wanted to have something, because you know what, God's not giving any more land. What we have is what we have. So how can I take a piece of it for myself and build some generational wealth for my children? And some people think that land is generational wealth, but it's more than just land. There's a lot that goes into this land. It's what they learn here. It's what they see their mother fighting for and their father fighting for. Um, so that's what I guess that's what makes me uh, keep kicking this rock.
Oh wow. So as I watch you smile and speak at the same time, it was something that when you started to talk about the legacy in your children, because
Hmm.
you said they're watching you,
Yeah.
how did it connect with being a mom and seeing things on social media that you do as a family? Like
Yeah.
how was it to bring everyone on board to the purpose and the passion that you have around land sovereignty?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. My kids. So we moved here 3 years ago. My kids were 15 and 12 and 4. So my 4-year-old was fine. He was okay. My teenagers are like, what are we doing? And where have you taken us? And why do we have to work this land? And why do I got to go pick eggs? And why do I got to be out in the cold? And why do I got to bust ice? And I said, this is going to build character. No one's going to be able to tell you you can't do, because you're going to do while you're here. And this is how you earn your keep. So teaching them the importance of keeping animals alive, and learning that, if you want your shoes, if you want your clothes, if you want to pay for your college, if you want to pay for your tuition to high school, you're going to help me. So my 14-year-old we do farmers markets every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. And those are get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, get going. And I said, this is how you're going to pay for school. And she did it. She got up, learned about responsibility. Not just that, but she's talking to all these different people from everywhere. We're in some big Chicago markets. So she's talking to all these different people, and having to explain what the products are, having to do calculations, having to, return money, get money, give examples why this is a better product than this, or, and she knows the food because she cooks with the food. She's 14, but she's a better cook than I am. So my children didn't and still don't love it, but they know that they have to do it in order to earn their keep. And I know that as they get older, they'll appreciate what they're doing and what we're trying to instill in them.
That is so amazing. Before we bring Lynette back in, you started to tell us about um, how your food is available across the nation,
Yes.
and that people can come to your land. So when did it go from, because you said, okay, we did it, we were serial entrepreneurs, and then you're like,
Hmm.
did you and the husband have like a meeting of the minds and was like, we can do this, live and thrive? Or how did you get to, this is our main gig?
Well, that's a really good question. So all of it was based upon faith.
Amen.
I I I'm used to, before this, I made a decent income. My husband made a decent income. We didn't have to become farmers, okay? We could have been fine the way we
Okay.
were. We would have been fine the way we were. But that wasn't a quality of life that I wanted to continue to maintain. So when we talk about mental health, my last place of employment was not good for my mental health. So I knew that I had to make a
Mhm.
change somehow, for that aspect. Now, listen, when you go into farming, your mental health is still a little rough, but you learn to say, hey, I can do this. If other people around me are doing it, I can do this too, but I'm going to do it on my terms and in the way that I want to do it. And so my husband was more or less, Vanessa, if you believe you can do it, I'm gonna be right here next to you. He still kept his job. I sold my company. Um, and I said, oh Lord, like, I just need you to be with me. I walk these fields, I walk these pastures almost every day. And I ask
Amen.
God, yeah, I ask God to give me some strength and give me a vision. And so when I did this, everything I've done has just been a vision, and I just said, just help me walk through it. So I'm an educator by trade. My degree's in education. So I knew that I wanted to have education on the farm. And I knew that I had to have, as a farmer, some people say, oh, you just do one thing and you get really good at one thing. I never believed in that.
No.
I thought that diversification is the best way to do your farm, because I look at these other farmers, and for example, you guys see what's going on with corn and soybeans right now. So
Yes.
Yes.
anybody that does corn and soybeans, they don't have a farm, or they're about to lose their farm. Beef prices are about to go down because of the new legislation and what he's trying to do with bringing Argentinian beef into the country. So I knew that I wanted to diversify my income. So I said, I'm going to do the top things that people eat, which are beef, chicken, and pork. And so I did all those. But then I said, well, if all of that fails, I want to have some kind of educational curriculum. So if I could start a preschool, or I could start a farm school. Then I said, well, if that fails, let me start a lavender business. So I just put all these little pockets of different things where income would always be coming in. Um,
Contingency on contingency on
yes,
contingency
yes,
on
yes,
contingency. I
yes,
love
for sure,
it.
for sure.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
I don't remember what the initial question was. But But one thing is for sure, when you start something, you better diversify because anything could happen.
I am so happy that you said that. I am so happy that you said that. And, again, I'm just loving this conversation and I'm just allowing it to go, where it's needed because, you can come on here and I had a ton and a bunch of notes, but right now I'm having a transparent moment. And
Mm,
I just do believe in divine connection.
yeah.
And let me tell you, I am Lady J and I, we are very, very strategic about our guest. And I'm strategic about our platform and who we have on our platform because this is such a healing space and so many ears are listening and there's so much to listen to these days, but we need to tune and keen our ears on what we need to be listening to today. And so I'm just so happy that I feel like Lady J and I was having a conversation today, and I really do believe that God chose you for her today because she needed to hear what you're saying. So I really do believe that you're a gift today, Vanessa. You're a gift, first of all, to our world because anytime you are reaching, I always say, they always said to me, why you always just target women? I said, you don't have, you have no clue.
Mm.
First of all, you inspire a woman, you inspire for family.
That's right.
And when you heal and when you change and you encourage and you blow up a woman, she's taking that home. The whole house going to change today, not tomorrow, today. And then when you empower the family, you empower the community. And when you empower the community, you empower and you change the world. And so that's what you guys are doing. You're changing the world. And I just want to say thank you for that. But when I say a gift, you are a gift here today for Lady J. And God knew that. And so, you know what? It's just amazing. I can't wait to see what all of us going to do in this land space because you know what, Vanessa, go ahead on there. You had to go first. You had to go. You said number 3. Listen, number 3 is special to me because I'm born on the 3rd day. My husband's born in the 3rd month. So that number 3 is special for us. So you can't even mess that up. But, we're talking again about sis, your healing, your food. Vanessa, I know that you also have, I mean, I just love the fact when you talk about multiple streams of income, because we talk about that all the time. But I like the fact that not only are you providing food and just thank you for your yes, but you educate. She also have what really stood out to me, and we're going to be posting her website and everything because guys, as we're talking and following, if you guys have questions, I want you to answer them, put them in your chat. If you have anything that you want to ask Vanessa, please put it in the chat for us. And we're going to put her information on how you can get in contact because guys, not only does she have a farm, but guys, she has wellness retreats. Did I say wellness retreats? Wellness retreats. So you already know me and Lady J is there. And so, not only does she do that, she has classes. I love the fact that she hosts classes. So you get a chance to go out on that land. You get a chance to learn. And so, I am really excited about that. But I want to ask Vanessa, being in this space for 3 years, women, when we talk about women's health, when we talk about, how to incorporate their food. Because as a coach, that's what I teach. Food is medicine. So I teach people how to change your relationship with food, how to eat for your health, how to make those decisions, how to pair your foods, how to grow your food, what does the colors of the food represent. How does that, how have you seen that play out in women's health on your farm?
Yeah, I think we should start at, you mentioned trauma.
Yes.
I think we should start there.
Hmm.
So, as I was growing up, there was 8 of us, and we lived a very, what's the word? Um, we lived a very, we didn't have a lot, humble
Right.
lifestyle. Like we didn't have running water. So our water came from our pond. My mom would bust open the ice so we could have showers in the wintertime, made sure she'd warm it up on a stove. So I really came
Wow.
from some humble beginnings. In saying that, my mom's goal and my parents' goal was just to keep us alive. So sometimes that wouldn't always be home cooked meals. It would be, okay, my dad's working till this time, my mom's outside to this time working. And so it would be whatever they could find to make us happy. It would be the cheapest stuff that they could find. And so as you grow up in that world, that's all you know. And so here I am, 30. I did play sports and things like that, but I still would eat anything that I wanted. So here I am, 38 years old, still doing the same things, still just surviving, doing the same thing for my kids, still just feeding them whatever I could find.
Hmm.
That is a learned behavior within our culture. I really do believe it. Not just African Americans and brown people, but people in general get the cheapest, the fastest, the quickest meal, and sometimes the greasiest meal, and whatever makes you feel good, because food makes you feel good.
Hmm.
Um, and so, what I've learned is that what you feed yourself is how you end up feeling. And I still struggle from day to day, but one thing I can say is that when you're consistent with eating nutrient dense food and knowing where your food comes from and putting exercise into your diet, you become a better you in general. You are not who you are. You are not
Amen
who
to
you're
that.
meant to be when you're eating bad. That's what I've realized, especially within the last 3, 4 days with me.
You got to say that again.
You
You
know that
are
I
not,
that she
you
need to
are
go back like
not,
the
you are
whole
not who
minute or
you
two
are meant
ago.
to be if you
Yes.
are not eat. Girl, you said that.
It's
I
true
love
though.
it.
It's so true. And I've realized that in the last 4 or 5 days, because I've told myself last week I was having a hard time with my eating and what I was doing, just because I was stressed and moving too fast and not taking time for myself. All of us are guilty.
Come on.
Yes.
And so I said, every single day, I don't care if I do it for a minute, I'm going downstairs and I'm getting on the treadmill and I'm going to work out and I'm going to cook and prepare the food that I grow. And
I
so,
love that.
thank you. And so I've been doing it for my son. We've talked about it. And and I am not the person I was 4 days ago. And that is because I've changed the way I've looked and thought about food and the way I've thought about myself. Your mind will just shift if you change your eating habits. And then,
Ooh.
to make it even better, though, like
Oh,
now go past that, because you can go to Costco and get some chicken breasts, okay? You can go to Walmart and get some chicken breasts. Now, the next level is, what are they putting in that Costco and Walmart food? They don't care about you, okay? They're trying to get the cheapest food that they can get and throw it in your body. So
preach.
this is where the next step comes. And this is where the education part comes, because it's not that people don't want to eat right, they just don't know. I didn't know. So we grow our animals with no antibiotics. We grow them outside, not in confinement barns, not in small spaces where nature intended for them to live. And so then you have a healthy animal that you take to the processor. You then take the animal to a clean processor who euthanizes or processes the animal in a humane way, so they're not stressed when they die either. So then all those toxins that you can get from an animal being stressed out when they're about to, it's about to be the end of their life. When the animal is about to end its life, you can put those toxins back in the meat. So that's why we take our animals to a specific processor who humanely euthanizes and kills our animals so that they're not stressed during the time of processing. So there's a lot to it. It's, but there's some education that has to be done that people just don't know. I didn't know.
Wow.
First, can I just say, so amazing as I heard you talk about what just took place over the last 4 days. Lynette shared a little bit about my story. You are my shero of where I want to get to. And something about what God has told me is that the land will restore
Yes.
back healing.
Yes.
Um, I've been displaced because my property's not ready and I have not been eating well. It
Yeah.
was my cousin went to the farm and picked up so many fresh vegetables. Can I tell you, I said my soul needed these vegetables.
Yeah.
When I consumed it, I just felt so much better. What are you hearing from your customers that are, as you are talking about how you pasture raise, grass fed, antibiotic free? Are there's testimonies where
Yeah.
folks that are aware of how you're really pouring into health and wellness? What have you been hearing over the last 3 years?
Yeah. So just last week, I had a person who came to me, and she's been coming to my farm stand every week this summer, every weekend, and she has cancer. And she says, I ate some of your brats, and I've been eating them, and the reason why I eat them is because I can actually taste it. And she's
Wow.
like, because of chemo, I haven't been able to taste very much. And when
Wow.
I eat your food, I can taste it. And she just said, I just appreciate what you do. And thanked me for it. And little did I know, my mother has cancer as well, so they have the same type of cancer. And I talked to her about the journey, and she was concerned because the type of diagnosis they have isn't. Said doctors say that they don't live for very long, and I said, well, my mom's been here for 5 years.
Come on.
And
Praise God. Praise
so,
God.
yes. And so she's like, thank you for giving me that healing as well. So it's like, I love to hear stories. I have people that have had breast cancer, and the reason why they get our meat is because they know there's nothing modified or put in it, that's going to make their diagnosis worse. If anything, it's going to heal. I had someone come with that wanted bone broth, and she had not been eating meat, and she's like, I just don't feel good. I said, well, drink this bone broth, and I'm telling you, it will heal your body. And so
Mm,
she took it, and she told me she's going to
Wonderful.
let me know how she feels next week. So I'm excited to see what she says. But food is healing. It's just in the way in which you eat it, in the way in which you cook it, and in the way in whoever you get it from. You need to know your farmer and know where your food comes from. I tell everybody that all the time: know your farmer and know your food. If you're not getting it from me, at least know that you can reach out to that farmer, walk on their property, and see their animals. Because that was the biggest thing for me, is that I wanted to have a farm where people felt and knew that I wasn't making up something about where the food comes from. It comes right from here. You can see it.
oh, this is good. This is so good. I am a oncologist therapist.
Mm,
And so, this is like I said, I am a little bit emotional. And because when you walk in the obedience of God,
hmm
he blows your mind. And
Amen.
right now, Vanessa, I am also a caretaker as well. And my husband is also going through cancer.
Yeah.
And and one of the things that, um we have been doing, we literally been staying also at a cancer center when we're not home.
hmm
And so, the question have come to me at this cancer center: how can I provide my services? And so I said to them, I want to get back to you guys about that, and just been praying and asking God, you know, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to provide my services in this center? And so, one of the things, it's been going on 3 years now, and sitting in that space, the first thing that I seen and been in that space is food. They're not eating right. And when you're taking chemo and when you're taking radiation, such as these people are, your food, on top of, first of all, healing order, your spirit, and then your food, these things need to be running hand in hand.
Very
And
true.
when they're both off, you know, then really, what are we doing here? And so when you said that, the bone broths and things like that, because those are a lot of the things that I fed my husband along with juicing,
Yeah, for sure.
and so, it's just amazing, at just what you're saying. And, I have a question. It says, according to research from the Harvard School of Public Health, women who eat a diet rich in fruit, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins experience lower rates of inflammation. And that is one of my specialties,
Hmm.
inflammation and gut health and hormonal imbalance. It says chronic inflammation is linked to fatigue, depression, and even pain in the joints. All things many women all things many women assume are just part of getting older. So, Vanessa, how do you see food as medicine in your everyday life and in your farm work?
It's so funny to me because these are so relatable. I mean, it's just these questions are great. So, I last week I knew because I was doing really good on this lifestyle change.
Mhm.
And then I just had a few weeks where I'm just like, oh, what happened? I didn't, my sister and I communicate a lot. And I'm like, what happened? Like, she knew I stopped communicating with her for about, 2 weeks. And she's like, something ain't right. And so I'm like, every time she'd call me and see how I was doing, I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. So what happens is when you eat bad, your mental health struggles. My mental health was taken just a
So
crash.
good.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
last 4 days, remember now, I've been telling you 4 days. 4 days ago, I was getting out of the bed, feeling my legs, I couldn't bend them. I was inflamed.
Mhm.
This morning, I got up at 4:30, just popped up out of bed like it's time for me to start my day.
Mhm.
And I know it's from changing my diet in 4 days. You will see a difference if you eat right and you do right by yourself. You will feel a difference. The thing is that it is all mental.
Mhm.
Every bit of your diet and the way you live is really mental. I just feel like I have to self-talk to myself. Like all I did is say, if I go downstairs for 1 minute, I'm going to go downstairs for my 1 minute. The next time I did 10 minutes. I did 30 minutes yesterday. Today I did 40 minutes. And so every day I just keep building and I say, I'm going to do it. And I missed out on my workout this morning, but I said, you know what? I'm still doing it. The day is not over. I'm going to do it. So I did it an hour before I got on the phone with you guys. And if you stay consistent and you self-talk yourself and you eat right, your whole life will change.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I love that intersectionality
Yeah.
of food, medicine, health, mood, and most importantly, I appreciate you sitting in full transparency
Hmm.
because a lot of people and that I've experienced, they only give us the good, right? Knowing that they walking through temptation, walking through stress,
Yeah.
walking through so many of the daily, I try to choose my words. Okay, God, opportunities, not obstacles,
Yes, yes, yes,
to
yes.
just strive to be well. And I so like when you were talking about joints aching, since I've been in New Jersey, I kid you not, Vanessa, I started eating food that I normally don't eat. I started I had a little bit more wine than I normally don't
Yeah,
have,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
All of that plays a role in inflammation. I've been taking in sweets and my mood has been different. And I love how you sat in just real honesty, because as a wellness provider and also just a person that lived life, we too go through those very same struggles and have the choice to make. And sometimes we don't always making the best choice at that moment,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that moment. But then something comes to remind us of really what keeps us well and what sustains us.
Mhm.
As I looked at your website, I noticed food justice was something that, and access to food,
Yeah.
and you all raising awareness. Could you take us to what does that look like? How, even as a new farmer, are you helping to bridge some gaps when it comes to the injustice behind food insecurities?
Yeah, what a good question. So I'm going to start off with the last year, okay? Um, there was a grant from the government. It was an LFPA grant, and what that basically means is that all schools, food pantries, food hubs can buy local food, good food from farmers, and get our retail price for it. That food went all throughout our counties, all throughout our states, to school buildings where they were getting my meat. Now, my meat is at a premium, and um, food banks were getting it as well. So people that don't have the money to necessarily buy our meat, they were getting all that. And so that that grant was meant to serve those people. With the new presidency, that was all taken away.
Mm.
So we are trying to find ways to fight back and get that food back into schools, because not only that, they had salad bars, they had educational
Mm.
opportunities for kids. They didn't get that processed packaged stuff. They had food from scratch. The cafeterias were starting to cook from scratch. Right now, I work with a school in Chicago, the School of Global Citizenship. It's a really cool school, and they are buying our meat from us because they want the best meat for their kids. So 25% of their meals are with our meat. So they're in the middle of an area where there are kids that might not have access to this, but now they do. So we are fighting the battle through that. Through putting it in schools, but now we have to fight the battle with the new presidency. What has happened is, and I don't want to talk politics, but it does make a difference for
Sure, sure.
farmers. Um, because of that, he has removed the importance of it. Michelle Obama and Barack Obama really spearheaded that, with making it healthy and get up and exercise and do all these different things. Where those programs are leaving, and we're an obese country compared to other countries. I
Yes,
haven't
we
talked
are.
I haven't talked about my husband a lot, but he's from the Dominican Republic and they don't eat like we do. Um,
No.
they don't eat all that bread. They don't eat all the pastas. They eat fresh fruit, they eat vegetables, and they eat home cooked meals. And so even in that, like, that has been infiltrated in our home too, is like we have adapted to his way of eating, and he has helped us a lot because of his influence. And at first my kids were like, what is this? But now, now they have, because my husband and I got married 9 years ago, so my first two children are by somebody else. But Yeah, so that was a transition. So um back to the food justice part, we put our food in schools. The kids get it. There's some food deserts in, the inner cities of some of these cities, and they don't get the benefit of having some of the food. But now with that LFPA fund, they were getting those foods. So I don't know how it's going to change, and I hope uh, our people fight the good fight to get these foods back in schools for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So one more before I toss this back over to Lynette, because I know she anxiously has a lot of questions. So as I was listening to you speak, and I was thinking around how the heck does she do it? And I'm reading this book, which is titled Who Not How. And I used to always be the how girl. How am I gonna get this done? How, Lord, am I gonna make this? How? Who are your who's to be able to supply all around the country? Like, how is it like your team of people that work under the Willowbrook brand?
That's a really good question. So I'm taking a business class. It's called Accelerated Equity in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And my who's have been that program. If anybody
Mm.
hears this, find a program in your state where there's some brown and black people that want to fight for you to become a better entrepreneur. um, Accelerated Equity through a place called Start Garden, who has helped me to become more business savvy than I thought I could become. Um, there are people in there that just teach you don't have to do everything. The last 3 years, Juan and I have done everything. And I don't, not to discredit my husband, because he's amazing, but he was working full time and trying to help me on the farm. The last 2.5 years were just Vanessa trying to make this work, feeding the animals, taking care of the animals, and getting all these contracts. So my who's have been those business groups, those co-ops that I've kind of joined, those staying up researching. So now underneath me, I have two part-time workers. My husband's full-time on the farm, and then I do all the media and the business aspects of our farm. And then I hired a cleaning person to help me with keeping our farm store and our grounds clean and organizing things, because Vanessa couldn't do it all. And so the faster a person realizes that they can't do it all, the faster your success will grow.
So good, so good.
You said a whole lot, and I really do, Lady J and I, when you said that research word, you know, that's what that uh, we're avid researchers. I mean, I have to tell myself sometimes, and my husband will say, "Go, girl, go to bed."
Yes.
Go to bed, because see, and I try to explain to people too, your body, your mind, and your soul better than anybody. And so I know when to rest. But you know what? When you have this vision, you have to pray and say, God, I need you to turn off the lights up in here. Because honey, when you talk about this girl
Disconnect.
I'll be up 4 and 5 o'clock. My husband will say to me, he'll look up and he'll say, You just going to bed? He said, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, yeah. And let me tell you something. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, but boy, was I able to get some goodies. I got something to run with for the rest of the month,
Hmm.
but however, thank God for people like us, because you know what? I'm gonna get my rest. We're gonna get our rest, Vanessa and,
Yeah.
and JD and all of us. But I'm just listening. And one of the things that came to my mind, you see me here, I'm taking notes. I'm like, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes because you said some amazing things. I know up and through my career, I've sat on many and been called to a lot of schools, to sit on the boards about, what do we feed in our children? How can we get better food in our schools? That's when, they had the snack boxes and the soda machines in the school and things like that. And I would walk through and say, get rid of all this right here. And then we can start the conversation. And so I've had my boots on the ground for many years in these spaces and places,
Yeah.
and as that coach, and just sitting with the who's who and all of that, and talking about how to change our food and things like that. And so that's why I went into a lot of schooling and did a lot of things that I'm doing now, because so much of this, I was sitting in and I'm like, man, we got to change this game, because you know what, we need, what you need. But it's like, when I look at wellness now, and I look at the conversations that we're having now, we was having these conversations like 20 something years ago, but nobody was listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now it's like, we're talking about it now. And for all of the OGs out there, when I'm talking about all of the OGs out there, we're like, what y'all talking about? This is what we've been trying to tell you for over 20, 30 years.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we had to get hit with a pandemic, and a few other things. And now you want to listen a little bit. Okay, wonderful. We're glad to have you at the table now.
Yeah.
But you talked about something very keen, and it's something that we want to start on this segment. Let's talk our wellness, because we can't do wellness without running over politics. And so you talked about politics. And so I was going to ask you a question, politics and wellness. And I know we try to tune down, like the volume, the music a little too loud. So you try to tune it down a little bit. No, 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 no. We're going to turn up the volume. We got to turn up the volume on politics and wellness, because politics is affecting our wellness.
So
So,
true.
we have to talk about it. We have to, as farmers and wellness, the wellness community, we now have to come to the table. I was in a room full of politicians and things a couple of weeks ago. And one of the things that I said in that room, I says, no, you need to bring wellness in the room. And so, if Let's Talk Her Wellness got to bring the politicians in the room and the wellness in the room, so we can talk. Because the politicians, you're out there on the front line, and you're trying to negotiate, and you're trying to pass these laws, and you're trying to do, but they need to hear from us. They need to hear from the wellness advocates. They need to hear, the farmers need to be in the room, so that what to fight for. Because the who's is looking at you. They're like, no, we're not passing this law. No, we're not passing that law. Because you don't have enough ammunition, or maybe you don't have the grit, or you don't have the struggle, Vanessa, to know and understand how we have to get up every day, and how we make this farm work. They need to hear stories like yours to say, oh, wow, and put these two and two and two together, so that we can be, and have, that our children and our families can have what it is that they need. Because without the voices, what are we doing?
Wow.
Without the right voices in the room, you know, what are we doing? So I really, really love when you talked about the politics and wellness. And you also talked about one more thing, and I love that: culture and food.
Yeah.
Because when I look at a lot of my friends that are different nationalities, when I look at what's on their plate, And when I look at what's on our plate, it blows me away. When I cook breakfast and when they cook breakfast, I'm like, wow, not never a time do I not see the cucumbers? Do I not see the avocados, eggs and avocado,
Mm-hmm.
eggs and cucumbers? And I'm just like, wow, no, we had that in salad, you know. But when you get used to eating these foods, like you said, you feel so much better. We have to change our minds. And when we change our minds, you know, it changes the whole game about what you put on that plate. When I'm stressed out, and that's what we're teaching, when you are stressed out and when you're not feeling so good, we're talking about mindful eating. So when I think about what I'm going to eat, because it's a choice, and for all my ladies that are listening, it's a choice that no matter what we go through, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, marital, relational, what you put in your mouth, what it says, a man thinketh, so is he. So whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're going through, making that mindful choice to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm stressed and I'm feeling this certain way today, but you know what? Wait a minute. Let me think about what am I going to put in my mouth this morning. When you break your fast, they always say, what's breakfast is the most important food of the day. Breakfast is when you eat. Whenever you break that fast, that is breakfast. Breakfast, And so when I break that fast, I'm thinking, okay, Lynette, what are you going to eat? You got to eat in order. Got to eat in order. What does this body need most? And protein, that's my first. If I don't get nothing else, I need that protein. What's your protein for today? And it don't have to be meat. you know hey, a little bit of peanut butter on some banana with some oatmeal, egg, whatever it is that you're going to do. It's just teaching people how, first of all, how to think, how to practice mindfulness, how to slow down and not eat in your feelings. Don't eat in your feelings. Please don't eat in your feelings today. And let's think about a little bit here about what you're going to put in your body, so that your body, we want happy food, because when you eat happy food, happy body, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just really love just, how you are incorporating education, because you have to have that education piece. I'm really glad you mentioned your husband, because our husbands, and like I say, with my husband, we do wellness together. And so, he's not a camera person at all. So
Mine either.
whenever you see Mr. Thomas on the camera, you better believe it is a treat. But I often say to my husband, man, I'm always on the camera, but when you come on the camera, it's like, you make the algorithm go crazy. Because I have so many people DM me and they say we need to see more of this, and so I always, because he's the cooker in here in the house, and I like how he pairs the food and everything together, and I'm just like, man, how do you put this meal together in like 2 minutes flat, make it taste this good, and it's so healthy?
Yeah.
And so, he tells me how he does that. As a matter of fact, he says he's asking a question today. He says, I've been eating differently, and my body has been asking, where is the juicing? Because I've been juicing for him for a while. So I stopped for a minute. So he's saying, where is the juicing or vegetable, beets, carrots, apples, etc.? What was the name of the fund again? He was asking for that fund that you were talking about,
It's
Vanessa.
it's LFPA.
LFPA, Michael. LFPA. I'll write that down on my notes, and I'm hopefully you're taking notes too. And so, Vanessa, we so want to thank you for just joining us today and just taking that time. And tell us how we can. No, let me before I ask you that question. Tell our audience all of the things that you do on this farm because, guys, it's not just a farm, it's an
Yeah.
experience. It's an experience.
So yeah, I'm gonna try to give you guys this in a pitch real quick. So
Mm-hmm.
like I said, we are forested and pasture raised operation. So we raise lamb, goats, pigs, chickens. We raise about 7,000 chickens a year, about 100 pigs a year, and it just goes on and on. But besides that, we also have a goat grazing business that I haven't mentioned. That we take our goats out to graze at other people's property to clear up their invasive species like poison ivy, or just anything that's causing an issue for their homes or their plots of lands that they have. In addition to that, we have a lavender field. It's an 8-week season where people come in June and July and pick lavender, where we make lavender lemonade and do events on
Ooh,
the farm.
ooh,
In addition to that, we have field trips and activities where kids and adults come to the farm and learn about what it means to be what it means to be a farmer, what it means to know your farmer and know where your food comes from, and actually see it and see the farm hands that we have here on staff and myself, along with my husband, work the farm. We have kids come from Montessori schools and all kinds of different schools to work on the farm. So I get a group of kids that come. And I say, okay, like for example, this year they planted a lot of stuff. I gave them some boxes. They took they gave them some garden boxes. They had to take the boxes out of the box and then put them together themselves and then plant and then throw soil in it and then put the plants in there and do it right without me doing anything. I just stood back and they formed their own groups and did that. They plant it and then they come back and harvest it and then they do our winter prep and clean it up and plant our winter crops.
ooh.
Um, in addition to that, yeah, we go to farmers markets and sell our products. We also ship and then we deliver our products as well. So we have, like I said, several factors and several things that we do here on our farm to make it work. And yeah, that's what we do.
I absolutely love it. You got me at all of it, and especially lavender, because I visit lavender fields.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the things that I just absolutely love to do. And so, thank you for that. And
I,
so, I look forward to Lady J and I visiting. And, tell us, we'll talk about that later. We'll have a whole sidebar conversation with that. But tell our people how to get in contact with you. I already put in the chat your the website. What was someone saying? We have not seen any information on how to get in contact with Willow Farm. Some people don't stay on whole shop. Okay, so I want to get. I already put the website, let's say, in the chat, and what I'll do is once we finish this live and we post reels of I will go back and get some reels of the Willow farm, and we're going to post them, and in those reels you're going to see all of their information of how you can get in contact, and you can also DM us and we can also give you more information, and you can reach out to Vanessa and those guys, and stay in contact with Let's Talk Our Wellness, because we would love to do a retreat there. We'll love to do a trip there and all that good stuff to support Vanessa and her family in business. And this isn't a one and done. We're looking to stay connected. Stay connected. And so, to every woman listening, healing doesn't have to be complicated. Start with one small, intentional choice. Drink
Mhm.
more water, cook something fresh. Thank God for the harvest on your plate. And Lady J, you take us out.
Well, I would like to close out with two questions to our guest. And the first would be centered around the land itself. Like,
Mhm.
where on this 35 acres is your favorite place?
Oh, yes.
Sorry, say it one more time. Where on the what?
Where on the 35 acres that you own, where's your favorite place on the land?
Hmm. So that's a really good question. There are a few places that I really, really like. I didn't tell you guys about this. I forgot to mention it. We have a farm stay that's in the middle of our woods. Um, that farm stay has a trail that we created. And that is probably one of the most prettiest places that's on our farm because as you walk through it,
Mhm.
there's hills and there's valleys and um, there's ups and downs, and it really reminds me of my life, to be completely honest. Um, and yeah, I tell people if you would have known me 20 years ago, you wouldn't have thought I would be Farmer Vanessa. You probably thought I'd be on the street. It's just by the grace of God
Thank you,
that I'm
Lord.
here today. Like seriously. So I walk that trail, and like I say, I just remember as a little girl, like my dad would say to us, when I'm not here, you're still gonna see me sitting right under that tree. And he had a tree that he used to sit
Mm.
under.
Oh,
And when I go home to visit my mom, I see him sitting right there on that tree. And so as I walk through my woods and as I walk around this property, I hope one day my kids will still see me walking right through those woods. So I would say
oh,
that's
that
my
is so
favorite.
gorgeous.
That
That is so
is
gorgeous.
that is so heartfelt. Speaking of last question, because I know we are reached over our time. 3 years, you've done so much.
Mhm.
I'm in awe of how you've done that, sister. And I applaud you for your dedication, your passion, and your purpose.
Mhm.
Looking ahead, because you seem like a active entrepreneur, um, a person that is passionate about so much. What is your 5-year plan for your farm? What do we have to look forward to in the next 5 years?
You know, I've had this question asked of me. And I want to be I'm very honest about who I am and what I see as my future. Farming is hard, and anybody that tells you different is not telling you the truth.
Mm,
I see myself in 5 years allowing this farm to be fruitful,
mm,
allowing someone else to see it become fruitful. You know what I mean? I wanted to stay in my family, but I see myself in 5 years sitting on the ocean, uh, looking out and just
mhm.
enjoying my life. I think sometimes we work so hard and we forget that this life is not meant to just work yourself to death.
That's
That
right.
is so
It's
good.
it's meant to be enjoyed. And so I'm not gonna be like, oh, I want my farm to make $1 million. No, I want to live in joy and in peace. And I want this farm to grow, but I'm not gonna be sitting, sweating, and slaving over it for
Oh,
the rest of my life. So I
sister,
am.
I'm about to get up out of my seat.
Come
Yeah.
on.
What
Come
you
on.
just said,
Come on.
it uprooted all of the notions that we have to work until we die,
And we don't.
and we
Mm,
don't.
and we don't.
Or because we start something doesn't mean that the finishing of it means that my hands have to be the person to finish it.
Thank
Come
you.
on now.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, come on. So
So
Yeah.
that's
you just planted something so majorly, because as I listen to you, I'm like, oh, my spirit is leaping, because I feel so much around wanting to offer to the community and having me be used by God in a way very similar. But I can tell you too, sis, at 54, next year I'll be 55. I'm like, okay, God, I I do have a want to sit myself down somewhere else kind of plan too.
yeah, yeah.
And I love that you took the moment to honor that, and to say that this legacy is a legacy that you will have, but it doesn't have to look like how great, 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 great buried on the property, worked themselves to the
To death.
ground.
Yeah. I told my sister, probably shouldn't say cheese fries, but I do tell her, I said, I'm gonna sit on the beach, eat my cheese fries, and look at the ocean.
I love it.
And
I,
maybe it'll be mangoes, okay, instead of cheese fries by that time.
thank you.
But
Mango fries. They have
mango
them.
fries. They're gonna cut me some mango fries and pineapple fries. But I'm gonna be on that ocean because you see people dying out here every day, younger than I am, and I'm just like, I want to enjoy. I want to see this world. And
Mm,
my legacy, my generational wealth, I'm giving generational wealth can look so different. People think it's just giving somebody land. That's not what it looks like. That's you can give an opportunity to somebody. And
so
that's what it
good.
looks. Yeah. So I'm sitting on my ocean in a little square box if I have to. But that's what I'm gonna be doing.
Well,
Well, you
I
know what?
thank you for
Cheers to
that.
you. I just want to raise my glass with this
We're
coconut water
raising our
till you get
glass,
there. Raising the glass for you, sister.
and
Raising the glass for you.
I'll make the mango. I'll bring the mango fries, and then we'll all be sitting next to each other saying, "How you do?"
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Exactly.
And I'm
Exactly.
just
That
really
part.
glad. I'm really glad you said that because that is one of my that is my as a coach, transformational wellness coach. That is one of the things that I'm doing. My passion and my job now, being as a therapist for 29 years now, is to go and get those professional women who I see out here on the front line helping everybody else get their this new word now, get their bag, but you're going home popping that Tylenol. And so what my job is to help that professional woman standing there helping everybody else get her bag. My job is to help you get yours and keep your bag.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
you just said my number one thing that your vision is I'm going to cultivate it. And once I cultivate it, then you're sitting in the classroom getting the wisdom and the knowledge that God is going to download in your mind to say, you know what? Like one of my coaches said, he said, Lynette, I'm training you to fire yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that, I said, what you mean fire myself? He said, because I need you to train people so good that you fire yourself and let the next generation let them do while
Yes.
you step back. But
That's right.
sometimes when you greedy, let me talk to women. I want to just say this to women. That's why women, you cannot I encourage you to get the healing because you cannot allow trauma to hold you back. We got to drop this jealousy. We got to drop all of this nonsense because it keeps you stuck and stagnant. God is not trying to take from you. He's trying to get something to you. And to get something to you sometimes you may have to trust this set of people over here that I send you that you don't know. I didn't send them here to take from you. I sent them here to pour into you so that you can step back, get on the beach, and have your mango fries.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because everybody don't want nothing from you.
Mm-mm.
They want to help you, and so I thank you, for that. And guys, thank you for tuning in. Carol Ward said you helped her tonight, Vanessa. She says she is currently studying agricultural business management and needed
Okay.
that word. So we just thank you guys for tuning in to Let's Talk Her Wellness. And there you have it, our wonderful Vanessa. We're going to put all of her information above every chat, everything that we put out tonight and into tomorrow. You guys will be able to play back. Isn't this wonderful? You'll be able to play back this interview, and you'll be able to catch everything that she said. And Vanessa, thank you. We're going to stay in contact with you. We look forward to meeting you and all that good stuff. And just thank you so much. And for all of our listeners, we will see you right back here next Tuesday from 7 to 8. And so, listen, you guys have a wonderful and an incredible night.
Thank you, guys.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome.